Hello and welcome to All Four Wins Football. We are back. It's another Monday night. We've got loads of things to talk about. The FA Cup draw took place about 90 minutes ago. Plenty to talk about there. The fifth round is got some pretty tasty fixtures to look forward to in there. So we're going to be taking a look at that. We're going to take a look at some transfer news that's been happening over the last 7 days, and maybe even cast our eyes across some of the matches that have been taking place over the course of the last 7 days in another 7-day roundup. We'll see you the other side of this. Evening, welcome. Lovely to have your company once again. We'll throw out some shout outs here straight away. Lovely to see Emily in the chat as usual, including Uncle Dub. And no, we absolutely can't because you're a criminal. We're just everywhere. You see me on one channel, you see me on another. I don't know if that says more about me or you, to be honest with you, but we will we'll say it's me. Just there we go. That's the easiest way. So yes, lots to talk about, but let's just check in. We are expecting Freya. Hopefully she will be with us in the next 10 minutes or so. So we will await her brilliant arrival, swooping in late as all cool kids do. Speaking of cool kids, we've got a couple of other ones here. Sean, lovely to have you back with us. And may we say, congratulations. He's got himself a new job. No, he's not going to be dressing up as Tesco Value stuff as his shirt there seems to look like from back in the day. No, he's got himself a much better job than that. I'll let you tell the world what it is you managed to do, but congratulations. Sean, how the devil are you, mate?
Wow, okay. I wasn't expecting the dig so early, but Brighton, by the way, obviously. Softest penalty ever. No, I've got a new job with Wrexham Football Club, and I am the new media executive for the women's team, full-time role, full-time contract. So very, very exciting. Hopefully starting in the next month. But as a result, this will be my penultimate show. I will be next week will be my final one, finishing with Cardiff next week as well. So closing all that chapter. So we'll make a good meal of it. We'll have some good debates, I'm sure, here. But no, thank you very much.
Sure, we will, and absolutely looking forward to it. Just for the noobs in the room, what does a media executive do? That sounds very, very. It's like business class almost there.
Terrible answer. I'll tell you when I start. I don't really, no, I'm joking. Looking after a bit of everything, all socials, interviews, media requests, all that good stuff. So yeah, a lot on my plate, but I'm very much looking forward to it.
Well, absolutely. Well, the congratulations are rolling in from some of the people in the chat, and very much appreciated. And FYI, Man United had a top just like that as well. We called that the Tesco Value shirt as well. So that was what made me think about it. Liberty, lovely to have you back. You've been just flying through the podcast, I think, over the course of the last few weeks. Lovely to have you back on another one. How are you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, I think Barry said before we started, he thinks that I've been on All for United this year in 2026 more than him so far, which I'm sure you'll overtake me very quickly, Barry. Once the transfer window's done, I'm like, got nothing else to say. I have an FA Cup trivia question. I have come prepared with FA Cup trivia. Obviously, this is not the question. This is the build-up to the question.
Okay.
It is decently well known that Arsenal women are the most successful team in the Women's FA Cup. For advertising purposes, the Adobe Women's FA Cup. But can you name me a team in the top 5? So the rest of the top 4, you can do a team each, who have the most titles in the Women's FA Cup.
So you're for the rest of the top 5 most winners of the FA Cup?
Yeah, which teams?
I'd like to go for Everton.
No, Everton are 7th. Wait, hang on, can I do maths? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Surely
Yes,
Chelsea
7th.
must be up there.
Chelsea are 4th. 4th, yes, with 6
That's not be the
wins.
first time we say or the last time we say that this season.
City would be up. Was City
City
in there?
are just outside our top 5 with
Oh.
they are 1 above Everton. The comments are helping. I would potentially look at the comments, guys.
I was thinking Donny
I
Bell
don't
was
want to
might
take
be up
anything
there,
away from the
but,
comments, to be honest. Let the comments can have a point.
yes, is Emily right here?
Doncaster Bells are 3rd with 6 and 7 runner-ups. They are tied with Chelsea, who obviously have 6 wins as well. Who's second? It potentially is on the screen.
That's why I threw it up there. Trevor Show is the first one to put it. Is Southampton that one?
Southampton, but not the Southampton that you're thinking, the other
Correct.
Southampton,
Women.
who have 8. Their last win was in 1980 to 81, so a little bit of a long time ago. And they have 2 runner-ups. And our 5th, are we on 1, 2? Yeah, the 5th place is Croydon / Charlton Athletic. As the last comment on my screen says, Charlton with their name changes. Yes. So what we now know as Charlton are rounding out the top 5 with 3 titles and 4 runner-ups. So I think that means on this list that's why they're above City, who have 3 wins and 1 runner-up, because they have more runners-up. They've been in more finals, I'm assuming. And some other names: Fulham, Millwall. Obviously doesn't carry on to London City because it's completely different. So Millwall is its own entity. St Helens, and 2 Scottish teams made it to the final but did not win. So I would like it known that I am not Scottish, so I apologise if I'm about to butcher this name. Stewarton and Thistle / Lee's Ladies. I don't know why it's Lee's Ladies. Or Westhorn United. Westhorn, one word. They had 1 appearance in the final in 1972 to 73, and Stewarton and Thistle / Lee Ladies have 2 appearances, 70 to 71, and then 71 to 72. And they are the only non-English teams, based on my probably slightly dodgy geography, who've made it to the FA Cup final.
Well, there you go.
That was it. Yeah, that's my trivia.
I enjoyed that.
I was going to do like FA Cup all-time top goal scorer, but I unfortunately could not find that anywhere. So if anyone knows who is the women's FA Cup all-time top goal scorer, please let me know, because it doesn't say on the Wikipedia page, and I thought it would. Like, it obviously you can find out who was each season's top goal scorer, because they like report it at the end. And it's usually somebody who's gone through all the rounds of qualifying and has like scored many hat tricks, as it usually is. But like, I want to know the all-time top goal scorer who, like, across seasons. Like, I'm assuming it's going to be like someone like Ellen White or somebody like that, but I haven't. Excuse me, no idea. There can be someone like that, but I can't find it, and I'm not going to go and count the numbers and find out who it was. So if anyone does know or has a way of finding out to help me, please let me know. But other than that, I'm okay. I'm going to mute my mic and clear my throat now, though. So Barry, feel free to continue.
Oh, thank you very much. There we go. That's all good news. The amount of times I have to mute as well just to clear my throat, and sometimes just do it right in the middle of Sean speaking, which isn't the greatest. Gets you a little bit worried. But there we go. So yes, lots going on, as we said, and we will start off with the FA Cup. It's very much FA Cup week on WOFO, and well, there were quite a few matches, were there not, that looked, I thought, quite exciting. Now, I think it's fair to say no upsets. We were close. We were close with a couple, but I don't think anybody had Sunderland against London City Lionesses as being the one that would probably be the closest, which it was in the end. Cheeking a 1-0 win there for London City Lionesses in the away game against Sunderland. some of the other ones that we mentioned, Brighton powering through against Nottingham Forest 2-0. And of course, Newcastle losing 3-0 to West Ham. So there was no big moments there in that respect. There was only a couple of all WSL matches. Arsenal defeating Aston Villa 2-0. Spurs defeating Leicester 3-0. But other than that, the Goliaths always seem to beat the Davids all the way through. Sean, were there any matches that really sort of stood out for you? I mean, Charlton of the WSL2 beating Swindon 10-0 from Tier 4 was the biggest score of the entire round. But yeah, anything that sort of stuck out for you there?
No, because I couldn't. I'll claim the foot while I'm talking. No, because you couldn't watch most of them. I couldn't see any of them. I can't tell you what happened in most of them. The ones I did were pretty boring. So, no, I've got nothing for you, Barry. Magic is not there anymore, is it? And yeah, I think the scheduling for TV, whoever signed off those rights, oh, come on. Like, this is the thing, because in the men's one, there is somewhere, what we're in the last round of the FA Cup, that all but 7 games you could watch live if you wanted to, like over 3/4 of the round of round 3 were live to watch somewhere. And here, 4, and only 1 of those was not behind a paywall. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? It's 2026. So, quite frankly, right, no, nothing stood out for me because I didn't see most of it. The only game I actually saw was Arsenal. And I know Libsy probably wants to talk about it. But I will say, I was actually impressed with Arsenal. I thought it was a really good performance. I generally thought that is banana skin territory, Villa in this round. But no, fair play, stuck to their task well. I think Villa lost Rachel Daly. I think that is a big loss in that game. But overall, I was really impressed with how Arsenal grew into the game, and it was a really professional job from them. But other than that, that's about it. The magic is gone. The romance is not there. So yeah, no, I've got nothing to bring you.
I mean, it was a bit of a tough. I will stick up here for Couture Criminals, saying that West Ham against Newcastle was fun. Certainly, the vast majority of it was, and there were certainly moments where it looked as though Newcastle might just pull something out of the fire. But of course, it didn't quite end up that way. Liberty, Sean brings up a really good point there about the TV. I know a lot of people complain a lot about where the football is accessible or not, and you know the fact that it's behind a paywall in terms of TNT having most of the games and all of that sort of thing. But surely another point from that would be that it's good that the money's coming into it, but what you don't have is it's almost like this side of it's growing, but you couldn't get the highlights. Like even now, most of the highlights are still not accessible because of the fact that they're relying on people sending the footage through if they're a club that maybe doesn't have the ability to record their own games properly. They're not sending cameras through to them. So yeah, Sean makes quite a good point, really, doesn't he? That actually it was really difficult to get like even a highlights package show. Like there's nothing. There's no. It's FA Cup day, and then you get to see all of the goals at the end of the day. It's literally a case of you can watch 4 matches, and that's your lot, mate.
Yeah, I'm very lucky that like my family already have TNT because we're men's football fans as well. So in that respect, I didn't need to worry too much because I could watch them because I already had it. But as I've said before, if you don't already have it, you're not a men's football fan. Are you really going to want to buy it just to watch the FA Cup? Probably not. It's a lot of money for, 3 games every month at that. Because obviously the next round we already know is going to be at the end of February. It's a lot of money. People don't have a lot of money, especially straight after Christmas. So I think there's been a boo-boo somewhere in that. And I also think because before it was on like on TV and had a TV deal, you could decently watch most FA Cup games. And if you couldn't watch it through FA Player or YouTube or whatever, the club would have the rights and do their own thing and put it on their own websites, depending on if they have a paywall on there. So like MUTV and Spurs have a paywall, but then Arsenal, when they have the rights to play their games, they just put it on the website. You can just watch it like for free. So obviously that depends. But when you go from having access and having the option to have the access to having nothing in the space of a year, it's really disheartening for fans, especially those who live further away from their clubs and they can't get there, because you're not just paying for the ticket to the game, you also have to pay for travel. 90% of the time you aren't living on the doorstep of your club, so you have to pay for travel. If you can't do both, then you can't go, because you kind of need one and the other. So yeah, I think it's just a bit too. I still think it's all a bit too much too soon. Once again, I'm very privileged to already have access to TNT, so I got to watch pretty decently all the games. Nothing really to sing home about. Everton and West Ham getting some goals against lower oppositions, like quite. Then it's not surprising. Obviously, hearts go out to Holmgard, who's done her ACL, unfortunately, from the West Brom game on Thursday. Very sad. And from Everton to go from 2 Homburgs to I say Homburg, sorry. One mess up. Full of habit. 1 Holmgard to 2 Holmgards to 1 to none in the space of a year is disheartening. So we hope she will have a strong and steady recovery. It's just absolutely heartbreaking for her, especially at this point in the season. But at least there's not a tournament in the summer that she'd need to be competing for. Other than that, Everton scored 5 goals. Anyone surprised? Not really. They should be doing that against the opposition they had. Nice to see Izzy Hobson on the score sheet again. I think the last time she scored is the Arsenal equaliser, if I remember rightly. So very nice, especially for such a big Everton fan and Evertonian as she is. Delighted for her, especially in the FA Cup. West Ham scoring 3 once again. Not really that surprising. Yes, there was the ability for a cup set because Newcastle have invested so much so quickly, but I still think that they're just a step. I think all the WSL2 teams that have invested quite heavily in the last year or so are still just a step behind at the moment, especially in one-off games. Which makes the playoff situation at the end of the season quite interesting, what that's going to look like. But you can sign all the experienced players you want, and it doesn't mean it's going to help all the time. Like, yeah, bro, you can have it each league weekend, but it sometimes the WSL team will just have the extra like 1%, which means why they're the WSL team and you're not. I think that's sort of what we see with someone like Newcastle and Nottingham Forest. It's not exactly inspiring, especially when you look at men's football and you're having these big stories of big cup sets like Crystal Palace and stuff, and you're then looking at the women's game and you're going, we don't have the capacity for that right now because lower women's teams are so far below the WSL teams. Or even someone like Charlton, a WSL2 team who put 10 goals away.
Yeah.
Sunderland versus London City was not very inspiring. London City still look like a team who do not know who each other are. And we'll talk about Cascarino joining later on, but that's just adding to a problem of nobody looks like they've ever met. I'm sorry. Like, there's one player who looks like she's met everyone else, and it's Yana Fernandez. Everyone else, I'm like, do you even know each other? Like, have you been training together? I'm not entirely convinced. Set piece goal. It's good set piece goal, decent. And I believe they said it's her first goal for London City. It was a good header. Like, if you're looking at it on paper, yeah, London City probably had the extra 2%, but Sunderland probably should have done better with some of their chances. But it wasn't inspiring. It was really quite boring, especially when you're getting notifications from the Chelsea game at the same time, and it's like Chelsea 5-0, and you're thinking, I'm watching the most boring 1-0 game of my entire life. And then Arsenal yesterday. So, I didn't realise I assumed that the Channel 4 game would just be the stream from TNT, straight across. I thought that's what was going to happen, because that's sort of what happens when we've had that before, where they just sort of use the same one and then just make one view to free view. But it wasn't. It's completely different. Quite enjoyed it. It was Jill Scott, the comedian Maisie Adams, and somebody else. Oh God, I've forgotten her name. Fern. I can't think of her last name.
I want to say Fern Britain.
Could you imagine?
Fern Cotton.
I can't think of her name. I can see her face. Yes, thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, thank you. Oh God, that was I could not think of that for life of me. I quite liked it. It was Maisie Adams was very much. I had my prepared notes, and I'm not straying from my notes, which is fine because this isn't her normal, everyday job. Like, this is very different for her. But it was quite nice. They had a big, massive 4 on their desk, which I was like, I know I'm watching on Channel 4. You didn't need to remind me. And then when they were interviewing Renee Slagers afterwards, it was nearly as tall as her, which I thought was very funny because I too am rather short. But yeah, I quite liked that it was different. I was just expecting the TNT stream, and it wasn't. I was like, oh, it's quite enjoyable. Yeah. The game, we were good. We did the job. It was nothing really to write home about. A rare set piece Kim Little goal, which is just funny. She's like not very tall, but I think Aston Villa looked like they were playing a WSL game they were happy to lose instead of a cup game where they were going to get knocked out of if they didn't win. Wasn't great. I can't win. Apparently, I'm underselling our win. We were good. It was good. It wasn't like the best game ever. We probably could have done a bit more. Ellie Roebuck had a good game. I think some of the Villa players didn't help each other or help themselves, and also, as Sean said, missing Rachel Daly was a really big one because it felt like there was a Rachel Daly hole in the game. But Kim was good. Lotta Bubbenmoy was good. Spilla Homburg was very good after she came on for Emily Fox. That could have been really challenging because she had to deal with Kirsty Hansen, which is a player that I don't think anyone in your second game for a club wants to be dealing with. Kirsty Hansen's a very good player, but she did really quite well. Yeah, it was good. We did enough. We did enough for a team that have to play United and Chelsea in space of 4 days. Like, I'm not gonna start singing their cows home until we've got past those games.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was.
Aston Villa have been a tough side this season. It's not like they've been easy peasy to beat.
We scored 2 goals because we couldn't do that when we played them at the Emirates. We kept a clean sheet, which we didn't do at the Emirates. Villa's been a bit of our bogey team inconsistently in the last in the last year or so. I'm not sure what happened to Chastity Grant. She was one of them. Quite a handful of Villa players not available. But yeah, we did well. We won. We're through to the next round. What else can I? If I go on much longer, Sean will say I'm talking too much and gone, this could have been an email. So I'm trying.
Who would possibly say such a thing? That would be outrageous.
Fox was not a concussion sub. It was just a normal sub. I think it was because she was injured in the United game, obviously the week before. So I think it's just precautionary because United and Chelsea coming up, and then also the Champions Cup and Champions League next month as well. We've got quite a few games. I think it was more precautionary to not make it worse than anything, but it was definitely not a concussion sub, just a normal sub injury.
Absolutely. And just to throw out here, there were, I believe, 10 teams that were in Tier 3 or Tier 4 by the time we began this particular round. Obviously, that's not the case anymore. That has changed, I think, to 2 is what I want to say. Yep. So that has changed, and obviously that is only because there was a tier 3 side against a tier 3 side and a tier 4 side against a tier 4 side. And I just want to point out for anyone who saw it, Chatham and York very much in the same tier, both tier 4 footballers in that. So we knew that it was going to be a tier 4 side coming through from that, and Oxford United and Middlesbrough being the 2 tier 3 sides. If you want more of that sort of chat, we will be doing that on Wednesday with our Lower League FA Cup preview and review. That is the plan there. We will be concentrating mostly over here on some of the big guns. But just before we do go back into that, I mean, this is again part of the issue, is that we've got this paywall, which is, I will probably die on this hill that eventually it's going to need to get to this point. I know that some people will say maybe it's too early, but you know, they've got to try and get money into the game somehow. And if people aren't turning up, then, you know, perhaps that's a way of doing it. But I mean, I had a little Google. I can't find such a thing. It's not very easy to find viewership numbers. I mean, we could barely see the matches, let alone them actually tell us how many people watched it. So, Liberty, what are you going to add to this?
I don't know what the numbers are.
Thank you for your input.
No, sorry, I have more. I felt like the need to say that in case somebody's like, you do know the numbers. No, I don't know the numbers, but I imagine they were also quite damaged by the Manchester derby being on Sky at the same time, because
if they had sense, they'd have had 2 laptops next to each other and played both,
obviously.
which is what I did.
But Barry, not everyone has the same amount of sense as you. Not everyone's as smart as you, Barry. But I imagine people that are just choosing a game to watch on their midday on Saturday are probably going to choose the Manchester derby over Sunderland and London City. Obviously, if they're good, proper football people like me, I obviously did straight up just choose Sunderland versus London City and regret my decisions. But yeah, I imagine that the numbers are probably going to not look great with that in mind, as well as behind a paywall and all the other things.
No, absolutely. And I think that is the thing. Certainly the paywalls that happen at the moment are ones where, you know, ultimately, like you said right at the beginning of your chat earlier on, it's whether or not you've got it in order to access other things, because there's not necessarily people going out there and purchasing the likes of TNT just for the ability to watch the FA Cup 4th round, for example. So lots there. And I also like Trebuchet's point here, which is what we were kind of talking about and why I was so intrigued by so many of these WSL2 matches against the WSL1, because literally that we have got a promotion and relegation playoff to look forward to this season. And absolutely, it's important to see whether or not these WSL2 clubs do have the opportunity, do have the ability to put a fight up there. And I would argue that in all of the matches that I saw, Sunderland, London City, Newcastle, West Ham, and of course the game that was on the Thursday, which West Brom was it, that were playing there. Completely lost who played there. But all those games showed that the teams were incredibly good at being able to try and close that gap. They just weren't so good at scoring, which is obviously going to be the big thing. But if they can work on that, I think it's going to be a tighter affair than perhaps some people may have suggested or thought. So there we go. Hello, see where you're coming from. Do you agree? Yes. I mean, yes, they do. But this is the problem. We are not in a society anymore that has patience. Like, Stranger Things came out over 3 bits. And my God, have you not heard, oh, don't release things like that. If I don't have everything all at once, how am I ever going to survive? Like, these people just don't know the struggles of having to watch TV when it was only 4 channels or, you know, a few more, and you have to get the TV guide out and circle it, make sure nobody else was watching it. Or when you used to have Sky Multi-Room and you had to watch whatever the person downstairs was watching, which kind of ruins the point of having it. Why just go and sit there and watch it with them? What's the point? So, yeah, it's a madness. It really is. And this is part of the problem, is that people just don't want things to take time. It is going to take time, of course it is, but everybody wants it now. So, you know, big dramas, I think, really, in those types of situations. And yes, Crystal Palace are really good. So it was a bit of a shame to see them get bopped, because they are a side that can play quite well. You know, I think all of the teams in WSL and WSL2 are good, as shown again by the number of them that managed to get through when it was, championship against lower league teams as well. So, yeah, I think the FA Cup's got a lot to answer for and a lot of growth still to happen. They're not going to get it right every single time, of course they're not, but I think there is certainly something within that. So, I mean, Sean, you've not said much really. What's your thought on it? These paywalls.
Oh, well, it's going to happen. This is happening a little too soon. I've said all this before. It's a cost of living crisis. It's people have got to get priorities right. Oh, sip away. Honestly, I've got a schedule planned. Don't you worry about that. It's going to be. Tell you what it's going to be. I can reveal it now. First half hour, going to be on Wales and how great we are. Second half hour, it's going to be on Brighton and how great we are. And the third half hour, we're going to have plans on how we can remove the sandwich cap. And that'll be the greatest hour and a half of telly, or whatever this is, you will ever see. Yeah, look, it's people have to get priorities and, put other stuff first. And unfortunately, and we have to admit, even though we love women's football, we have to admit it, women's football is not at the top of most people's priorities at the minute. It's sad but true. So why are you forking out? I think I worked out, if you wanted to watch WSL, FA Cup, Women's Champions League, on all the services they're on, you are looking at a monthly price of 65 to 70 quid. You're not going to, I'm sorry, but you're not going to fork out that much for just women's football at this stage. And greed is coming into it. I don't think we have... Some people, I think, care more about the finances than the actual game and the health of the game itself. But yeah, it's sad, but honestly, not much you can do about it, I'm afraid.
It is a really difficult one. I mean, you look at... So I refuse to get Sky at the moment anyway, because I don't want to get locked into a contract. Apparently they do monthly rolling things now and all that, but they've annoyed me too much for me to want to get involved in all that. So I'll go and get Now TV quite easily, because I know I can cancel that after a month if you want to. But already you're talking 40 quid just to get Now TV. The minute I got TNT, that was 30 quid. Or £31. So you're already up to 70 quid, and all you've got is the sports channels. Now, for me, that doesn't matter, because whether I've got Sky or whether I've got these, that's roughly what you would be paying, and that's really all I would be watching. But the purpose of getting rid of Sky was supposed to be because I was spending 70 quid and never watching the telly. So it seemed absolutely mental to be doing that. And then you think about Netflix, which is getting into sports more and more. You've got Disney Plus, obviously, for the Champions League that you would want to watch, but not the Europa, because who would want to see a brand new European competition? Who? Nobody, obviously. But they've got that. And, Disney Plus, then that's about another tenner. So like you say, it builds up and it really does get to a point where it is a lot of money. But I think my argument back on that one, I suppose, is that at least you are getting other things with some of those channels. So like Disney Plus, you've got the ability, if you want to sit and watch Little Mermaid, or to go and watch some of these other great TV shows that are being made in various parts of the world. So there are other things that you can watch. It is more an entertainment package. And I think that is the sensible way to go, because I'm not convinced. I think this is where DAZN went wrong, was that they were hoping that people would just sign up just to watch the Champions League and such like. And they were met with short shrift, I think, for a lot. She's back again. Here she goes. Go on, tell me I'm wrong.
No, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. I think that why The Little Mermaid? Was that just the first thing that came to mind?
Why not The Little Mermaid? It's one of the greatest films ever made.
Okay, fair enough. My thing is, I don't mind paying. I would much rather it all be in one centralized place, and I'm only paying one company. I don't want to pay TNT, Sky, Disney. Well, that's the only three off the top of my head. But like that, I don't want to pay all three of those just to watch one sport. Just put them all on the same place. Like, whether that's a specific WSL or a specific WOSO channel on Sky, or a specific subsection of Disney Plus that has WSL, Champions League, Europa Cup. Obviously not. They would never do that.
Obviously.
FA Cup or whatever. I don't want to pay 3 different companies for the luxury of watching one sport. Just put it in one place. I will pay for it if you put it in one place, and also if you make the product good enough. Because if you're putting people on to broadcast who have actively said they do not care about women's sport, women's football, and it's not their job to promote it, I don't want to look at their face because they make me angry to look at. But I'll tell you who later. I'll tell you what it was later. Keep you hanging. But like, I'm happy to pay for it, or I'm certain that most people would be happy to pay for it if it was just for one company, and that meant that the production you were getting was good, and none of this social media calling Sky Sports and that. No, just football. Get good pundits, get good commentators, put it in one place, and I'll pay for it. I do not care. Just don't make me fork out too many people each month for no reason, just to watch one sport.
Can you hear that? It's the sound of the FA player being revived, but under a subscription model. Imagine. Like, they've had the right ideas, even with YouTube as well. You know, that they've got the ability to show these matches, as you say. But yeah, they are absolutely going to have to build up the interest for sure. So, listen, the FA Cup 5th round draw was made brilliantly quick as well, by the way. They did not mess around at all this evening. As soon as they were on, tiny little chat with a couple of people, boom, straight onto the Flodium, as I've now coined that. And then off she went, doing all of the brilliant work that they do. So, all 8 matches were chosen. Let's just have a little run through, shall we? And see what we're thinking. So, Man City against the mighty Sheffield United. I mean, we're all going to say that Man City are going to win that because they are. Sheffield United with a 2-1 win against fellow Championship side Ipswich. Man City bopping Bournemouth, who have been battering all comers, to be fair. But battering all comers in Tier 3 is not the same as battering all comers in the WSL, which is what City are trying to do at the moment. So, City, Sheffield United, I think really the question on this one, how big do you think it's going to be? Bigger than 6-0 or less than 6-0?
Oh, less.
Okay.
Yeah.
Liberty?
Sorry, I was typing. Can you say that again?
Right.
Sorry. So,
I need to ask the question again. So would it be more or less than 6-0 for City against Sheffield United?
less, because Sheffield will just like sit 10 at the back and like hope that they don't get too embarrassed. 4-0. That's what I think. I think they'll just like go fully defensive and hope to get City on the counter.
Absolutely. There will definitely be a Man City, I think, in the next round. That would be absolutely crazy. Now, we've also got Liverpool against Everton. And certainly, Emily said earlier on in the year that she thought they would face Everton in the FA Cup, but not until the final. So, partly right. So, I mean, not bad at all, really, for both sides. Liverpool with a thumping win, Man City-esque, shall we say, against London Bees, the mighty London Bees, 6-0 for them. Meanwhile, Everton still winning well, 5-0 against West Bromwich Albion. That was the one on Thursday that I was trying to think about. That was losing me mind a bit. So this one, I feel like Liverpool, Everton could go either way with it being the cup, but you feel like Everton should have maybe the favourites tag, but slight favourites. Liberty, you can go first on this one.
Yeah, I think it will probably be one of the closer games of this round. I think both managers will put out their best 11. You don't want to go out of the cup at this stage, and you definitely don't want to go out to your City rivals. So they'll go for quite strong teams. I'm going to say it's even Stevens at full time and it goes to penalties. Why not? Proper
Ooh.
FA Cup penalty shootout rivalry derby, I'm calling it. And then the shootout goes on forever. I'm thinking Australia versus France in the 23 World Cup goes on forever, and then Liverpool win it on sudden death, and it's Fonk who wins it for them. That's it.
Really thought this through. Very impressed. You're really letting the imagination go wild on that one. We don't know whether it'll be at Anfield or not yet. It's only just been drawn. They'll be sorting out the logistics as we speak, but I'm sure they will let you know. Could be. You never know. But Sean, whether it's at Anfield or not, what do you think we will be looking at there?
Liverpool should have most of their injured players back by then. And I think with the new signings, I do think Liverpool will be much improved from here on out. So I'll go for a Liverpool win.
I think you're right. And definitely when we get to the transfer window chat in just a moment, Liverpool will be superstars in the discussion up there, you would think. Now, obviously, there's the small matter of another all WSL match. There's 4 of them in total. And it's Chelsea against Manchester United. Now, I've already had somebody in the chat say I'm getting knocked out, which I feel like it's just unbelievable. Like, I don't know what I said that's upset people there. I don't know how am I getting knocked out. What have I done wrong? Clearly, Sipaway talking about Manchester United. United have beaten Chelsea once before to make it to an FA Cup final. This is not Chelsea's greatest season as yet. I'm going in with a very positive view, which is that if Everton can beat you, so can we. We also drew earlier on, but I have the feeling that both Sean and Liberty are going to completely try and burst my bubble. So, Sean, let's get the joyous proclamation that I'm sure you want to say out the way nice and quickly. Chelsea United, who do you see going through?
Just looking at Chelsea's past 3 results of 9-0, 5-0, 5-0. Yeah, I think Chelsea might have that one. A Chelsea with Trinity Rodman. Why not?
This game isn't being played until the end of February. I don't think the last 3 results have got niche to do with it. They could go on now. They could now go on a month-long loss streak from now on. And then
it's ages away. Who cares? It's ages away. It's going to be the magic's gone anyway. It's a Chelsea thumping. Let's just say that.
Well, I'm going to say this was my other prediction for a penalty shootout. I think it's going to be 2-2 at full time, and then we go to penalties. And I don't even know who would take penalties for either team other than Guru Daitan. I'm like, who else would be? I think like Rafa would take one. I think penalties, and then United have cause an upset at Kingsmeadow, and then United win and go through. Oh, Baltimore, yes, very true. But I still think United would go through.
There you go. It's happened before. Baltimore is definitely a player to look out for, unless, of course, you're just randomly talking about places in America. Can I just point out, Sean, that both sides in their last match won 5-0. So I'll throw that out if we're going to start throwing out random arbitrary times and dates and everything. There we go.
I tell you what, against a third-tier team, I really like the way you used your youngsters. Great experience for those young players. Got all really good minutes. I'm sure they will get much improvement in the future. All those big minutes they played against Burnley.
Layla Drury, left footer from outside the box. Beautiful
Welsh.
Beautiful goal. Absolutely loved it. Well, there we go. Chelsea win easy, according to Chelmer. Carpenter and Thompson to score, shouting. So they are. But there we go. That could be quite interesting. I can't say I really have too many thoughts about it at all, other than to say that Jade Riviere will be victorious because she's the best right back in the league. And that's what I'm going to say on that one. Oh, there's people arguing with me there. Go on then, you name someone better. I don't think you can.
Kirsten Kasperai.
That was a good start.
Emily Fox.
Who's the second one there, Liberty? Sorry?
Emily Fox.
And they're good, but they're second and third, I
Ellie
feel.
Carpenter.
Jade Riviere, maybe 4th best right back in the league.
Jade Riviere, the 4th best right back in
Yeah.
the WSL.
And I stand on that. Yeah. This season, yes.
Sure. Oh,
this season,
dear.
quite easily, I'm afraid.
I mean, I wouldn't get red card against Arsenal. I feel like that just docks points like a little bit.
Don't like that, are we? Okay, fair enough. Listen to this. I'm going to just breathe. Hannah Lundqvist is a left back, but no worries there.
No, she's not. She's a right back.
She's not. She is a right back. I've had an absolute mare.
I'm thinking, whoa, I've seen her play right back for Sweden.
That one in there. Trying to be calm, and then I was so calm that I said something wrong. No, absolutely right back, but no, she's not. She's not at Jay's level just yet. She will take a little bit of betting in, I think, on that one. But listen, really, really, really good match for sure. Possibly coming a little bit too early in the tournament, but good potentially because one of the favourites will be knocked out.
Hey, you ran them close in the final last year, to be fair. You ran them close in the final, so I'm sure it'll be another really close battle this time around. Don't call my shirt Tesco value, all right?
I think I think Freya's back.
If you say so, look at that. So you're upsetting people now, sure. It's outrageous. But there we go. Listen, that's a good game. I really do think it will be a good game. And, no, we didn't have our finest showing in the FA Cup final, but I'll take you back to the FA Cup semi-final. We beat them there, so we can all throw back history. History is brilliant, but it's not about history. It's about what happens next. And I will point out again, Chelsea lost to Everton. So it's possible. It's possible. And yes, he is. Although you gave it a really good go there. By having a go at me, telling me I don't know my team. That's made a mistake. It happens to us all, right? But there we are. Right, Oxford against Charlton is another one there. So Oxford, a tier 3 side, Oxford United there, with a good 3-1 win against the other tier 3 side there in that one, which was Middlesbrough. And of course, Charlton being a championship side there, which is great news for them. They had a 10-0 win against Swindon. Biggest win, like I say, of the round. So Oxford and Charlton. Liberty, you looked absolutely sure you knew what you were going to say there. Who's going through in that one?
Charlton. I think if you're a Charlton player right now, you're thinking we've got a real opportunity here to push as far as possible in the FA Cup. I think that's a very, very favourable draw for them. I'm almost happy that they got a lower opposition than, say, a top WSL top 4 getting that opposition, because I think a team like Charlton are going to want to flex their guns and go as far as they can in this competition, and to not have to face a WSL team in your first 2 rounds is quite favourable. And Charlton will go through. I don't think it's necessarily going to be 10-0 again, but maybe like a 3-1, like Emily says. That's what I'll go with. That sounds about right.
Very nice indeed. Sean, are you going with that as well? Charlton to go through?
Yes, easy Charlton win.
I think I would tend to agree with you on that one. That's for sure. Hark, we were talking a moment ago about the mutterings of the FA player returning. Speaking of returns, she's here. Hold on. Where is she? She's coming. Where? Oh, there she is. Hello.
Hey.
It's Freya. Welcome back.
Oh,
how are you?
Nice. It's been a day. It's been a day, Barry. But hey, talk some football and distract.
Absolutely. Well, you've got a lot to catch up on. So
I was going to say, whereabouts are you?
Well, let's kick you off on your first question. Number one, were there any matches in the last round of the FA Cup that stood out for you? And please don't talk about how there wasn't much on the TV. Otherwise, that's going to set Sean off again.
Let's set him off again. The matches, I thought Hull did well to get 2 against Birmingham. Really, really proud of them there. They broke attendance records as well, which was really, really good to shout out to Hull City. I did try and go to that one, but hey, baby had a tantrum, so I couldn't leave the house. Yeah, what else? What happened this weekend? Arsenal, Kim Little. Shout out for Kim Little. Incredible player. Oh, I'm being trolled already. Who did Villa get in the draw? Oh, would have been on 30 seconds. What else happened? Sunderland put up a really good effort against London City. So the fact that that was only 1-0, considering how Sunderland have been performing the last season, I thought that was a really good result. They played really well. So now if they can take that back to the league, that'll be fantastic. So yeah, I thought there was some really good underrated performances from around the leagues. Yeah,
Very good.
The big ones.
And then we were also running through the 5th round. So we're just going to ask your opinion on who's going to win. City, Sheffield United. The question there wasn't who's going to win. It's would it be more or less than the 6 they scored in the last round?
I think so. I mean, Sheffield can be tricky. They can be tough. But I just think City are just a different league now, aren't they? So yeah, I think that one's going to be a big scorer. I saw it briefly before I ran out for the vet. I think who've Chatham got again? Have they got Birmingham? I think
we haven't got to them yet.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
We've only made it halfway through the draw. Liverpool Everton. Who do you think is going to win that?
Which one? Sorry.
Liverpool Everton.
Oh, extra time. Liverpool. Sorry to all my Everton people.
Well, Liberty took them to penalties on that one. It was a very, very intricate story indeed. It was like we did Dungeons and Dragons. It was amazing. Chelsea against Manchester United.
Oh, probably Chelsea. I'd like United to put the cat amongst the pigeons a little bit, but yeah, I'm leaning more towards Chelsea on that one. I don't think there'll be much in it, but I think maybe Chelsea.
I will let you off. And Oxford United against Charlton was where we were up to.
Sorry, this keeps freezing. Sorry, I heard Charlton. Who are they playing?
Oxford United being the home team.
Oh yes. I mean, Charlton they are going to win it, aren't they? But I really hope Oxford can put up a good fight because they came late, come back against Middlesbrough at the weekend. Didn't think that was going to happen. So yeah, I'm all for the underdogs getting through on this one.
Beautiful. And the final question that brings you bang up to date: where do you rank Jade Riviere in right back to the WSL? What position would you put her? Not right back, obviously, that is the position, but what number?
5.
Oh my God, that's even lower.
What did you guys say?
We both agreed on
4.
4, yeah, 4, 5, yeah.
Yeah, me and Sean said 4, and Barry said she's the best right back in the league.
I haven't been wowed by her. But that is me coming from an outside perspective. I'm not really, no. Sorry. Just nothing to write home about.
So moving swiftly onwards and back to where we were. That was a nice little catch-up. Well done, Frey. You did well there. West Ham will face Brighton. Obviously, West Ham defeated Newcastle 3-0 away from home. And Brighton's big win was 2-0 against Forest. We might as well start with Sean on this one. Did Brighton have enough to get past the tricky team of West Ham?
Can I just say context? Context the key word here. People will look at that Brighton result and go, "Oh, straight pass." But our manager went back to Australia for personal reasons, and as I know, it's quite late in the day, so I don't know how long the squad had to deal with that. So to not have your manager, to have the assistant, to have someone else leading from the sidelines, there's a lot going on there. So credit to Brighton for getting through what could have been a really dangerous tie, but managed to win in the end. West Ham, if they've still got earrings in, I still think Brighton win that quite comfortably. Yeah, Brighton win.
Liberty?
Brighton win, but I think West Ham will put up a good fight. I think they'll want to at least prove that they're not like truly that bad. So 2-1 to Brighton. I know you said you didn't say to give scores, but I'm giving them now. I started and I'm not going to stop.
Absolutely
so
fine.
Sorry, Barry.
Throw scores out there, you do it. Freya, for you, West Ham, Brighton?
I think C will score first, but then Brighton are going to win it. That's my prediction.
Fair enough. Fair enough indeed. Well, we saw London City managed to squeak past Sunderland 1-0. They will be facing Spurs, who knocked Leicester out 3-0. So, yeah, London City against Spurs. I feel like this is an obvious answer, but we'll see. Liberty?
Spurs 2-0.
Wow. I get the feeling Uncle.
Well, luckily for me, Uncle Tony, I don't have to see you around here much longer. So go on, do your worst.
Uncle Tony also said I have Bristol City beating Arsenal 22-0. So I think Uncle Tony is just having a trolling kind of day.
I don't recall Uncle Tony saying anything about Manchester United against Chelsea. So at the moment, he's bang on. Sean, for you, London City against Spurs?
Will London City squad know each other by the time they play Spurs? Who knows? Will they still look like strangers on the pitch? Who knows? Spurs win.
Freya?
Yeah, Spurs win by a couple. Yeah, got to be.
By a couple. Emily's gone 3-0 on that one. So there we go. Birmingham against Chatham, which is where Freya thought she was coming in at the conversation. So that was all good. But Birmingham with a very good match, as we mentioned there, 6-2 against Hull. So again, very good to see Hull doing well there. And of course, Chatham defeating York 3-0. Chatham, the lowest ranked team in the draw. Birmingham, obviously, in the WSL 2. Freya, you can start us off on this one. What do you reckon?
I think out of all the draws they could have had, I'm glad they've got a WSL2 side because it just makes it feel that bit more achievable. They're on their historic run. This is the furthest they've ever gotten in the competition. And I just think, wouldn't it be brilliant, not for Birmingham City, but wouldn't it be brilliant if they could just pull something out of the bag and get like a last minute winner, just something, so we've still got some magic in the FA Cup? Because I just think at the minute, like, there hasn't really been any cup sets, like there hasn't been potential for cup sets also. But yeah, I just think, yeah, give it a bit of magic back, one of the lowest ranked sides. So I do think Birmingham will win it, but I would love for Chatham Town to make it really hard for them to win it.
Well, lots of people are saying Birmingham here as well. Sean, would you go along with that?
Yeah, as we discussed at the start of the show, the romance is dead in the Cup, and the romance will not be coming back at St Andrews or wherever they will play. This might sound wrong, and so be it. I'm not afraid to anger anyone. Who cares at the end of the day? I'm sure there's a part of Chatham that are slightly gutted they've got a WSL2 side. Out of all the nice little, the big sides they could have got, they got a WSL2 side. I think part of them would be like, oh, well, that is a shame. If we're going to go out, let's go out to a WSL team away from home and have a nice day out. But hey, Birmingham will still be a good test, to be a lovely occasion for them. Keep it under double figures, lads.
Yeah, no, I think you're probably right there. I find it very interesting that this is the guy that says romance is dead. But yet when we're talking about films from the 2000s, he was the one who came up with Love Actually, I'm sure.
Still the greatest film ever made, Barry. It's Christmas, though.
And now romance is gone.
It is.
So, yeah, never mind. Anywho, Liberty, bit of Birmingham against Chatham. You're going to be a trio of Birminghams here?
Yes. However, I do really like the idea of Chatham pulling it out and surprising us all. That's the FA Cup. However, it's not going to happen. Birmingham 3-0.
There we go. And of course, the final game that was drawn out of the hat. We saw Arsenal defeat Aston Villa 2-0. Bristol City just got past Southampton in the All WSL 2 match, 2-1 to them. So, Arsenal against Bristol City. We've already heard what Uncle Tony thinks. It's going to be quite a hefty win for Bristol City. Liberty, I'm sure you agree with that. No.
No. I think 3-0 Arsenal. And also, I would potentially give Bristol more of a chance if it was if Arsenal were away in Bristol, but I think Meadow Park just kind of it will probably be quite electric. Not my favourite place to go, but good turnout. I think Bristol will it'll be too much for Bristol. 3-0 to Arsenal.
No, fair enough. Sean?
I mean, a midfield containing Kim Little facing a midfield containing Sophie England, Vicky Lasada. Am I back in 2010 or what? That is a stunning. Take me back. It will be Arsenal, and that's fine.
Absolutely that. And Freya, what is the magic dog telling you over there? Is he saying Arsenal or Bristol City?
There was a big sigh when you said Bristol City, so I'm thinking maybe Arsenal. But yeah, I think Bristol do have quality in that side. It's whether they can maintain it, but also, sorry, Liberty, but can Arsenal find their scoring boots? Because it's been a bit rough in front of goal. So I do think Arsenal will win, but I do think Bristol will make it tricky for them.
Which will be good to see. And you have opened up the doggy questions by revealing the dog behind it.
Pitbull is a bald man who sings for a living. That's a dog on that sofa. If ever I've seen it, come on now, zip away.
He could sing.
Gotta be doing better than that.
No, he is we think, Staffy Cross pocket bully. We think. But he's got a beautiful big head and really he's a tank essentially, but just loves cuddles. So some people are scared of him when he comes along, but he's so beautiful. So yeah, he's got the best temperament in the world. He's beautiful.
There you go.
Before we just on the subject of dog, I'll leave with it. I hate dogs. Can I just get that out there? I don't like
Why?
I'm allergic to Star, which is it's a red flag in itself, don't get me wrong, but I think dogs, Arsenal, Man United, England, all in one bracket there.
Is that the order as well?
No, England's probably top.
Not
It should be
Crystal
about
Palace.
order because when he does that, dogs, Arsenal, Man United, England. Let's just think about what that spells out when you take the names. Dogs, Arsenal, Man United, England, Dame. And of course, Sean is our Panto Dame here. So there we go. That's very good. He's trying to rile us up, Liberty. Don't let him do it. Don't let him do it. Don't give him the satisfaction. It's behind you, Sean.
It's the fact that he said Arsenal, United, England, and not Crystal Palace. His actual rivals.
No, and fair enough. I don't hate Crystal Palace. I loathe Crystal Palace.
Oh yes, they're even worse, apparently. So there we go. Well, that's unbelievable. Acting pets. What's happened here? What are the pets getting strays for?
We're starting a revolution here tonight, and I'm ready for it.
It's a revolution or what? Here we go. Emily's back to disliking things that you say again. So the world is returning back to normal. So there we go. Right, there we go. FA Cup done, dusted, out of the way until February when we will return back to that, which will be lots of fun, I am sure. Transfer. It's been absolutely unreal. Some of the transfers that have gone through today, no less. We saw another Cascarino bring themselves over to our lovely shores in order to play for London City Lionesses. We've seen Martha Thomas go over to Liverpool from Spurs, and that's on loan till the end of the season. But there has been quite a few. Rachel Williams, she's gone off to Leicester. That was certainly one that I noticed. We had Ella Morris extending her contract for Spurs. Jay's has disappeared, but that's not to a WSL club. So talk to us a little bit about these. Freya, I'm going to start with you because I know you do your transfer tracker. So do feel free to give that a bit of a shout out as well. But So yeah, some unbelievable sort of transfers coming through.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a strange window for some people, and I do need to say, did anyone see the London City fan quoting Leicester's apparent rumour for Alicia Lehrman going, and they say we're buying the league? It's like, I'm not being funny. You can buy Delphine Cascarino, you can buy all of these stellar world-class players because money is not an option. Leicester have literally brought in Sarah Mailing on loan, Rachel Williams from United, who, cracking player, but, Rachel Williams. And they're apparently trying to get Alicia Lehrman. They're not on the same level, are they, really? So Leicester, I mean, people can buy whoever they want. It's fine. But there's still a difference between quality of players here, to be honest. But yeah, there's been some strange ones coming in, and you just think, London City especially, they're just playing fancy football, and they're going, I know that name, let me bring them in. And it's just a bit of a mishmash and a bit of a, you don't really know what that final product's going to look like, and how they're gonna work. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad Liverpool are making moves for some very good players. That's been really nice to see, because they were struggling, as we all know. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with it. Yeah, Jean-Francois coming to Villa. Didn't see that one coming, to be fair. But she is proper Villa because she got a yellow card coming on the pitch within about 20 seconds. So that fits. That fits in well. So yeah, it's been a bit of a strange one, but some clubs still need to get the finger out and make some moves. I know there's still about 2-ish weeks left. But yes, yeah, silence is a bit deafening for some teams.
Yeah, a bit of a chat there about the transfer valuations. Emily Sams for 600. We have San Diego not selling Delphine, which is, you nearly caught me there with Daphne. That but I didn't fall for that one, and I've got no idea how you say this. I have not even had a moment to look at it, so I'm just gonna call it AC from now on, and I can't be wrong. So there we go. But there's some really big ones that have happened. Liberty's got her hand up immediately. She's ready to go. So we'll throw you into the conversation now. Go for it.
No, it was just on the transfer valuation chat.
Yes.
Kang's going to put down 2 mil for an 18-year-old because that's her release clause. Like, it's like she's got monopoly money that she's playing with, and I get she is a very, very rich woman and she's worked for her money and, like, good for her, but, like, she's 18, what are we doing? She's 18, she's never left her home country. I'm sure she's brilliant. I'm sure she's absolutely stellar. Next big thing. I'll guarantee it, because you don't put 2 mil down for a kid if they're not going to be the next big thing. But Kang's just does whatever she wants. Obviously, that's not a WSL situation. That's yeah. I'm glad everyone's filling in the names now because I could not remember her name. But I'm sure she's great, and she's going to go probably to the Washington Spirit because that's looking likely. But what are we doing? 2 mil for an 18-year-old? Like,
can I just add a bit of context to that? So Claudia Martinez, she was linked a month and a half ago, the move to Lyon for about 400,000 euros. But what her club in Paraguay did, Olympia, signed her to a new contract immediately with a release clause of $2 million. So Olympia basically looking after themselves with that. She will be a star. She's a striker. Lit up the under-20s World Cup with Paraguay, one of the world and youth age World Cup. She is a star in the making, and they were very close to losing her to Lyon for 400,000. So Olympia have covered their backsides a little bit with that release clause. And hey, if they're willing to pay, up to them. But good for Olympia, good for Paraguayan football, if you ask me.
That's my argument, though. Absolutely fine that they'd put that price tag on her after losing her. That's smart business. But Kang can just do that. She can do whatever she wants. And I don't think that going after it, like, there's been a lot of chat about if Kang goes for a player who's a direct rival to one of her other teams, is it fair? Like Cascarino leaving San Diego to go to London City, is that fair? I'm not saying that's not my argument here. I'm just saying that's a conversation that's also been having. But she also can just spend £2 million because her other club wanted her and she didn't get her. Oh, I wonder what Leon wanted her at 400k and they said no. So Kang can now just do 2 mil, so she still wants her and she'll just go to her other club. Like, if we're going to have a conversation about valuation, what price we're putting on players now, and also about this, like, we've gone from £1 million signing to breaking 2 million, essentially, if it happens in the space of a year. And Chelsea is more organic, I guess, in getting Germa for £1 million because they just did business and it wasn't like a release clause or anything. But I don't think it doesn't set anyone else up for much success. If at any given point you'll be in a window and Kang just puts down 2 million because she can. Not everyone can just put down 2 million because they can. Like, not every NWSL team has got 2 million just to do it because she wants them. And I just wonder, when does the sport get to a point where we go enough's enough and we stop those kinds of things? Because it gets really old really quickly. Like, I'm already bored of it, and we've gone from 1 million to 2 million in a year, and I'm like, when is this going to stop?
Well, I mean, there is a lot of money, as we see, being bandied around. I mean, Sean, Emily Moxon talking earlier about Denise O'Sullivan coming to Liverpool and saying that was 300,000 they spent there for somebody over 30. Do we think that's good? Put my teeth back in. Good business for somebody of that age. 300,000, is that a reasonable sort of price tag? Because I feel like it would be maybe in a few years, but I don't know.
I think the price tag is probably a little too much for a player that age. But if you consider what Denise O'Sullivan brings in terms of leadership, in terms of experience, and for what that Liverpool team need, I think she is a very, very ideal signing for Liverpool. And 300, if it's 300k, it's 300k. But this Cascarino transfer, right? Something does not add up. Okay, because the contract was mutually terminated, but she had a year through on this one and the option of an extra year. But you're telling me San Diego couldn't get a fee for a player who was an MVP finalist this past season. And they've said if she wants to move closer to home, we'd find a way to do it. Fine, no problem with that at all. But to not get money for a player of that quality, who is 28, still got a lot to give, and is coming off a very good European Championship, something's not right. And I'm a conspiracy theories fan, but something is not quite making sense in that San Diego, Cascarino, London City transfer business. And on Kelly Gago as well, I know that was a comment a little while back. It's not unusual for a player to not want to play and to put in a transfer request in. That's understandable. And Gago wants to go back to France, back to PSG. But I think that the only thing in that story that makes me think, not sure about that, is the fact that the club doctor says she needs time off because of the stress. Or so because of the transfer, she needs to basically rest, which is a bit, okay, questions arise. So I'm going to be interested to see what happens there with Kelly Gago. But yeah, that Cascarino transfer, I'm getting 2 + 2 and I'm not quite getting 4 yet.
I mean, it does feel like a very interesting one. And as you say, obviously, it's it is a bit weird. But this is women's football at the moment. You know, sometimes you leave them to just go on a free. Sometimes you might try and put another contract in the hope that you will get some money for them. But yeah, who knows? Out of all of the ones we're talking about, Freya, anything you'd like to chip in and add to some of the things that Liberty and Sean have been discussing there?
Yeah, I was just going to add in about, so no, I think Sifway put there about, if I'm talking about Chelsea, no, Chelsea are fine. Chelsea got about 3 teams ready to go, haven't they? No, I'm thinking about more teams like Everton. Obviously, it came out today, another ACL. Was that today? I think, maybe. So that's another ACL. They've, Katie Robinson's gone, which I know people might not think big impact, but it's an extra player in the squad. She's gone. They've only brought in Hannah Blundell on a loan, and no offense to Hannah Blundell, but they need a lot more than that. And apparently, my friend Chloe, who does press, she was there, and then she was playing in a different position. And so I think there's a lot of teething issues at Everton at the minute, and I know they're going to lose quite a few players to the Asian Cup as well. And so you just think, is there a backup plan apart from recalling more loan players? And West Ham as well. I know they've brought in Estelle, which just makes me think of Friends every time. I can't not think about it. They need to do a bit more as well. And I just think this is the opportunity for clubs like that they need to future-proof and just get through the rest of the season. Because there's a lot of things going on. The Kelly Gargle thing, like Sean said, is a bit weird, and all the reports that allegedly are happening behind the scenes as well. And it doesn't feel like a good place to be at the minute. So I just really hope that gets settled and sorted. And if people are so set on going, that they just get it, because at a certain point it then becomes negative for the rest of the team. And so I'm a bit worried about Everton in this window. So we'll see what Sorensen and the club can do in the next week or so. If they need it.
Barry, you're on mute.
I'm on mute, yes. It comes up and says your mic is muted sometimes. Oh, okay, yeah, fair. Thanks for that. But yes, I wanted to sort of finish our little transfer section today with, I was running through Soccer Donna, as I sometimes do, just having a little look on the old tweets that are sent out there. And I saw one that instantly made me think of you, Liberty, because...
I know what you're about to say.
There's no joke. There's nothing. This is serious. And it was talking about where Swedish players have gone since that once they leave Sweden in the top 5. Now, only one of them has gone to France, 4 apparently in Germany, 5 in Spain, 9 in Italy, but 23 Swedish players in the WSL. Which means obviously they are clearly finding it as a bit of a playground for them to come and play their football. So it was a simple question. I just wondered why you think it is that Sweden seems to have, well, is it that the Swedish have chosen the WSL, or why it is that the WSL seems to go shopping at IKEA so often?
There's several things in play here. One, January is a really good time to get Scandinavians, because either their contracts are up or season's finished, so you can get them. Clubs are more likely to do a deal in January than in the summer in Scandinavia. 2, why is WSL valuable? One, why would anyone want to go to WSL? Considered the best league in the world, most competitive, best money, and the Swedes, especially those who are in and around the national team, will be looking at England as a really valuable prospect in a 18 months into a World Cup. That's insane to say, by the way. It clicked to me like literally earlier today. The World Cup is next year. That's insane. You can be paid more here, especially the young ones wanting to leave for the first time. Clubs want them. If you've excelled in the league or in the Champions League for your Swedish club, clubs like United and Arsenal are going to be looking and thinking, oh, hello, you look quite good, and it's more of a player for the future. Or if you're a Liverpool and you need a goalkeeper, oh, brill, you can get the best goalkeeper in Sweden on a loan deal until the end of your season, brill, absolutely brilliant. That's still really good business in my eyes. But yeah, you can be paid more here than you can be in Sweden. Weather's better. Sweden's very cold. What else? The language also. I'm sure if Uncle Tony's still here, he'll correct me. But most Swedes speak really quite good English. I believe it's they're taught it at school, like quite young, the same way English, German, and Spanish. I believe it's similar to the same. So that they've got that. We're seeing every single Swedish player that I've seen come to England in literally the past year has given their first interviews in English. Ellen, Smilla, Jennifer. Sorry, Uncle Tony, question, once again, pronunciation. Falk, is it Jennifer or Jennifer? Because the Liverpool media said Jennifer, and I just wanted to clarify because I wasn't quite sure. So if you could just fill me in on that one, thank you. Alice, like they speak English. It's not, there's obviously thank you, because I thought so. But then the Liverpool media said Jennifer, like the English, and I assumed it was Jennifer, but I was like, I just wanted to ask as my pronunciation guide. Thank you very much. But yeah, their English is already mostly fluent, if not at a very, very high level. So there's not much for them to really learn in terms of language. They probably it's more of a culture and change and stuff like that. And England, like, listen, anyone who's looking at changing leagues is probably looking at the WSL and thinking, hello, that looks like a brill league. So it's not really that surprising that it is the highest number of internationals in England at the moment are Swedes. I'm not surprised by it. I saw 28. I saw a little graph and it's like incredibly stark. I think we're seeing more now because 23, thank you. I knew it was 20 something. I think we're seeing more now because there's no tournament this year, so none of them really need to have, be starters and have loads of minutes, especially the young ones, because they're not pushing into a national team anytime soon. Whereas this time last year, they were all trying to get into Euro squads. So they were trying to stay in Sweden to have minutes to get into the Euro squad, whereas that's not a thing this year. And I imagine next year we'll probably see less of them coming to England because they need minutes to get into World Cup squads. Yeah, it's like that weird null year where nothing's really going to happen, so they don't have any reason to not try something new. Yeah, that's sort of it, and that's sort of why you see loads of them coming from Scandinavia, but specifically from the Damallsvenskan. And also, it's like, I guess, like supply and demand. If teams want Swedes and they're looking at them thinking they're good footballers, they're talented, they're technical, they're strong. Most of them are very tall, unless you're Hannah Lundqvist and Smilla Homburg. Most of them are pushing 6 foot. Vanderheim is pushing 6 foot. So yeah, it's like a different profile of player as well. But yeah, that was a really long, rambly way of saying not a lot.
Very good. There we go. Well done. We love a little bit of trivia like that, which is really good. So well done. And again, Soccer's a great place to go and find random facts that you may not necessarily have thought you needed to know, but you actually did. So there we go. Good stuff. Right. We're going to push this on slightly. We're not going to go flying around the leagues because if we do that, we will still be here tomorrow. But we will certainly pick up a couple of bits. I will ask you momentarily if there are any moments in any of the leagues that have been played. We've had the SWPL was back, the A-League, which I will be bringing up just before the end of the show because that was a little bit mad this weekend. Of course, the Serie A, League F and League 1 were also there. So lots of football being played. But we received a tweet that really was quite an interesting statement based on what we were talking about last week. Because last week we spoke a little bit about Liga F and Liberty was very upset because people were like, there's more than just those two teams and in the league. There's so much more fun you can have watching it. Obviously, one of the main viewers of the show that likes to watch it is, of course, world-renowned and Ballon d'Or winner. It's time for bed, Barry. Aitana Bonmati. And she has said in an interview recently, in recent years, a huge step forward has been made, but only in two teams, Barcelona and the national team. There's a lack of infrastructure that would allow Spanish football to continue developing. So she's been quite outspoken on this one here. Freya, you were one of those who sort of stuck up a bit for what was going on in Spain in terms of some of these other teams. But would you go along with this one? Is it as deep as the infrastructure? I mean, you would imagine Aitana would know. She's there and playing in it week in, week out. But does it seem that bad to you?
I'd say they know who their superstars are and they know what's going to sell, and fair play to a certain extent, because you do need to grow. But yeah, I think because there's a lot of stars, if you like, at Barcelona, then it's very easy to forget the rest of the league exists. But you've got teams like Logroño. They've just got a new training facility, which is a massive step up. I think Tenerife, they've got new sponsors. They've changed their name slightly. And I'm sure, I think they got a new gym recently as well. And you just think there are so many other wins going on, and clubs are getting bigger and better. But I think because the main focus for so long has been Barcelona, I think that's just automatically where they go, right, how can we develop this? And that's where the eyes are. So there's still a massive way to go, a long way to go, but there are, if you know where to look and you know who to follow on social media, there are more wins coming out of Spain. But yeah, I think infrastructure is a massive thing. Even coming to things like, just going to mention this briefly, I don't want to make a big thing of it, but if anyone watched the Levante game at the weekend, there are some sponsors that are creeping into the game, and their placement of their sponsorship is a big issue, especially when it's on women's shorts, and especially when it's across the bum of women's shorts, and especially when the letters within the company say start with ASS. And you just think, someone's done that on purpose to make a thing of it. And it really didn't sit well with me. And of course, the cameras do their thing as well. So yeah, I think there's still a long way to go in terms of representation and infrastructure. But I think it's getting better slightly every season.
It's interesting you say it didn't sit well with you, because it was in the right position for it to, you would have thought. But no, that does not sound ideal at all over there. Sean, again, it's a league that we have looked at many times over the course of the last sort of year or so. What do you make of Bonmati's statement?
Not surprising. If you look at the stories that have come out from Spain ever since the World Cup in particular, and it's rooted not just in the national team. I think it drips down the sort of unprofessional, the amateurish behaviour from whether that be government bodies, whether that be clubs, whether that be leagues, whatnot. It's not a surprise, unfortunately. I do think out of all, if you look at the top 5 leagues, I think League F is probably the league that, although it has the best team in Europe, debatably, I think it's the league that needs the most work, because there's stories. It's just every season there's one or two where you're like, "Ooh, that's not good." Especially when you have Florentino Perez of Real Madrid saying, "Right, we need to cut the funding," blah blah blah, saying, "Oh, the women will never play at the Bernabeu until they win a league title." Well, invest in that case. Like, there's always something about Spain that doesn't sit well with me, and Bonmati this is not the first time she's voiced her opinions, and I guarantee it will be the last. I know she said she was tired and says it's useless, the fact she keeps talking out, but yeah, unfortunately it just feels like Spain is as a whole just not up to scratch compared to other elite countries in Europe in particular, and the USA.
No, fair enough. And Liberty, it's interesting because we were talking about this backstage, but Bonmati's talked about this before, hasn't she? We said that she had. Tell us first of all what's different about the way in which Bonmati has decided to say what she said this time, and also if this continues, can you see it being in a situation where a lot of the top Spanish talent might decide to try their hand elsewhere rather than remaining in the system that Spain have got set up?
Yeah, so before, I think maybe this time last year and also after she won her third Ballon d'Or, Bonmati essentially said, we as Spanish people and the Spanish league need to do better to support our league. We've not really come very... She basically said, look what England did after the 22 Euros. We could have done that in Spain and we didn't, but we won the better trophy and we didn't capitalise on it. That's what she essentially said about this time last year, maybe some point last year. And now she's saying the only people in Spain caring about women's football are Barcelona and the national team. And I'd argue maybe Barcelona don't even care that much because they fancy selling all their players and getting rid of everyone just to supplement the men. So really, do they care that much, babe? I get it. It's the club of her life. She's been there since she was like a child. So she's not going to necessarily speak out against them. But like that, even that doesn't set very good precedents. And so she said everyone, she's a bit stronger of what she said before. And Bonmati is not afraid to say controversial things or to go against the Spanish grain. You know, she's first Catalan and then Spanish, and that is how she presents herself. And Spanish media, as much as she's like, you know, a darling, she also isn't liked by many because she will give her speeches in Catalan, which is her mother tongue. She will do things that people outside of Catalan don't like. Because of look into Spanish history. I'm not going to, that's not this show. So this is just more of her saying we need to do better because we will fall behind. And it is true. Yes, there are teams like Sociedad and Tenerife who are trying. But the thing is, one of the big issues in Spain is that women's finances are still tied to men's finances. And so if you end up in a position where you've bleeped your men's finances, your women will suffer, and they will probably suffer more because you're going to try and keep your men up. That's probably where you're going to get most of your revenue from. And so we need things like that to change to help Spanish football. It is getting to a point now where, yeah, maybe big players start leaving. You know, every 3 days they ask either Aitana or Alexia if they're going to go to Mexico. Like, it's honestly, like, even in this interview, if you read down, they do say, are you tempted to play in Mexico, to her, and she says, I've been at Barcelona since I was 14. This is the club of my life. I've been here for 14 years. I'm not thinking about that yet. But the thing is, players like Aitana and Alexia will be tempted to go to Mexico, to go to the NWSL, or to go to England or wherever, eventually, if they feel like their talent is not supported by a league. And it is great winning loads and having all the trophies, and I'm sure it makes them very happy. But at what point are they going to go, hang on a second, what the hell am I doing? Like, I could actually, I am the best player in the world, and I could really be pushing myself somewhere else. And they will leave. And I do think that Spain is on the cusp of, like, not a mass exodus. Not everyone's going to leave, especially players who have their whole lives and families tied to Spain now. They're not going to do that. But you know, they will lose big talent sooner rather than later. You look at the list of players out of contract at Barcelona at the end of this year, there's already conversation if Onabadier will come back to England, if these players that are, you know, who have left and then going back to Spain, if they'll leave again because they're not being supported, because they can't either be paid what they deserve because of the men's finances being tied to the women's or things like that. And it does get to a point where you look at decisions being made by those at the top in all leagues, but also, like, obviously specifically Spain here, and you go, do you actually care about women's football? Do you actually care about growing this and making this sustainable in its own right? Or do you just want like a quick payday? Or do you just want people to go, oh, they did something right, and then forget about you? Because I do get to a point where I start looking around and going, you have basically a blueprint already printed out for you from other leagues that you could try and copy, like England. Like, what's stopping Spain from looking at England after the Euros and going, we could do that. We could try and copy that and try and build what they've already put down in their success, or looking at the NWSL or any other league and going, how about we try and implement that? They aren't the first to do this. People have done this before. And I think that's where I start going, do these people actually care about women's football? Or are they just happy to have the best team in the world and have them win everything? But then obviously individual teams and individual clubs need to do more. Real Madrid need to do more. Atletico Madrid, who are having a real stinker at the moment, need to do more. There needs to be some consistency. You can't go from Atletico Bilbao winning 1-0 over Real Madrid and then losing 5-0 like 3 days later. There needs to be consistency in the league. There needs to be some structure and some thought. Like a bit of thought goes a long way. And it gets to a point where words eventually will become actions. And we've seen it with Spanish players before, with the people that boycotted the national team after the 22 Euros. They are happy to sort of put feet on the ground and go, we're having enough, we're going out and protest. And does it have to get to that point? No, but it will if Spanish league football doesn't sort itself out and doesn't support these players and the talent that they have in Spain, because even outside of Barcelona, there is brilliant talent across the Spanish league and everyone just deserves better. And when you have other leagues that have already done it and shown it's successful, and you can create real momentum and buzz around women's football in your women's football league, why aren't they trying? Because at the end of the day, trying is the first step, and they don't look like they even want to do that.
No. It's a bit of a tricky one. I think I'd agree with you on that. Indeed, again, they've had such a good national team. I think that just almost belies the issues that some of these other clubs may have. Where she goes.
Sorry, on that, they've only had a... No, it's not. Yeah. I'm not. Oh, I'm fine. I don't know what's wrong with Sean. I just have something to say about the national team. They've only had a good national team in the last 4 years.
That's what I mean.
Before the World Cup in 23, they'd never got past quarterfinals.
But at the moment, recency bias. That's what people are looking at.
No, I'm not even saying recency bias. I don't think that's the issue at all. I think if you have current success, you need to jump on it and try and push in your league, in your country. You know, this Spain dominance probably isn't going to go away anytime soon. They're probably going to always be the team to be in Europe, past the World Cup, past the Olympics, and past the next Euros. This looks like a quite set national team at this point. Why is the league and the people in charge of the league then not profiting off of that and making sure that their league is a good league and is doing better than it currently is? Because they've got the talent, and if you can help grow the league, you keep talent at these clubs.
Yeah.
Excuse me. In whether it's Barcelona or Real Madrid or wherever, they will stay in your league. So you need to help them, then they stay, then you can help them more, then they stay more, and then you can help them, and that's it. That's how it works. And that's what the Spanish FA or whoever it is need to do now, and not wait until it's too late, because it will be too late quite soon. Because if players are happy to vocalize that they're annoyed now, that probably means they've already hit boiling point, especially with someone like Aitana Bonmati, who literally every person in the world knows. And like Adidas are gifting Dasha Kasatina, a Australian tennis player, her signed shirt. Like she people know her, and they're gonna want to be seeing her play in their home leagues. Just like do more now, and don't wait until she's already left to go, oh my god, maybe we should have done more. It's like, come on, it's not that hard.
Absolutely. So there we go. As I was saying, yes, indeed, the league form is, or the league as such, isn't matching up to what we see internationally when they are playing the games. That's the whole point. Whereas when you look at the WSL, it is relatively competitive within a lot of the teams, certainly more of the teams. I think so. Lots to look at there. I'm not going to go round the houses on this one. I'm just going to ask you if there was any sort of games that stood out for you. But as you will know, if you've been watching this channel very often. I'm very much. Oh, hello. Yep, so well said, Liberty. So Emily's loving a bit of that as well. And there we go. Into an ambient events. I'm sure that Freya may well jump in about Serie A, but you'll all know that I've been on a bit of an A-League fix at the moment, really sort of having a look at what's been going on in there. And honestly, it blew my mind. The matches are on at 6 o'clock, a lot of them, which is really very helpful because I get up at 6. So it's the sort of thing I can just put on in the background if I need to, whilst I'm getting myself ready, doing all of that. Oh, what a weekend for that to be happening, because Melbourne City, top of the table, you would have thought had the opportunity to extend that lead playing Newcastle Jets. Didn't happen. Newcastle Jets beat them 3-1. So Canberra United had the opportunity to pull that back. They could have gone top of the table. Didn't. Lost to Wellington 2-0, who are sat there in 7th. And then beyond all of that, Central Coast Mariners, they had the opportunity to do it. They didn't. They ended up drawing with Perth in 5th. Melbourne Victory had the chance to jump up there and get themselves level on points. Didn't. They managed to lose 2-1 to Adelaide, who are in 9th. So all of the teams that were in the top half of the table and had the opportunity to jump into top spot absolutely lost it. It all just went entirely wrong for them. And poor old Western Sydney, who looked like they were going to get a win, just had it snatched away from them right at the very end as well. So genuinely, if you do get the opportunity to watch a bit of A-League, it is definitely worth doing because it is hotting up. So yes, I'm just going to hand it out to you. If there's anybody who's got something they'd like to throw out, now is the time. As they would say in a wedding, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Hello. So I was just going to say it really quickly in Serie A. Yes, Inter beat Juventus. Juventus scored first, and they probably thought they were going to win it, but Inter were just better. And that's great. Good. We want to see teams at the top of the league beating each other. But bigger shout out to Ternana. I can never roll my R's, and it's one thing that I'm annoyed with myself. They got their second ever win at the weekend, and it had to be over Lazio. I'm not too happy about that, but they got a red card and it kind of all went wrong for Lazio at the end of it. But yeah, second ever win. They're doing really good things as well. They just got promoted. So now at the bottom of Serie A, you've got Ternana and oh god, who else is at the bottom? Hang on. Genoa. They're both on 7 points. Parma are on 8, Sassuolo 9. So literally between those bottom 4 spots, it could go either way. So still lots to play for at the interesting end of Serie A. So just wanted to give them a shout out for getting the win. Thank you.
Paris FC held Lyon to a 0-0 draw at home. Doesn't change much because it's still, thank you very much. Here's one I made earlier. There's still a 10-point gap between Lyon and Paris FC in second. But interesting that Paris are kind of trying to cement themselves a lot in the top 3. That top 3, especially with PSG not dropping points, having points deducted for fielding an eligible player. It means that they're trying to make sure they finished higher than them. Did win 4-0. That they're down in 4th because the points deduction. So yeah, really interesting that Paris FC have always been the 3rd best team not always, in the last couple of years, always been the 3rd best team in France. Obviously, we're playing in the Champions League this season. They're a good team with some really good players, but a 0-0 draw at home to Lyon is really good for them, really interesting, and yeah, sort of really cements them as a top 3 team in France now, and hopefully they can, keep pushing and maybe even next season win. But yeah, some of the Lyon players look a bit lost at the moment. Yuli Brand, I'm not entirely sure what's going on. Looks a little bit lost. Obviously, she joined them in the summer. Hopefully, she can shake that off quickly because she's very good. But yeah, have I said something wrong? I'm getting the feeling from the comments that I said something wrong.
No, I think they're just talking about how many teams qualify.
Hang on, I know because I think maybe I
I feel like you're right. You said 3.
No, I didn't. I did in fact get something wrong. I did because look, Leon, Nartes. I'm not French. And then Paris. Thank you. I'm not French.
You can get things names right though. Doesn't matter where you come from. You gotta get names right. Come on.
I also didn't hear what you said because I was talking, but I was wrong. And thank you for correcting me. There's 10 points between. Can you say it again, Sean, so I can try again?
Nantes.
That good? Thank you. I'll remember that. There's actually 10 points between Lyon and Nantes, not Paris, as I said. And there's only 1 point between Paris and PSG. You can just see my phone screen now. That's it. And then also only 1 point between Paris and Fleury and Strasbourg, who are 6th. So maybe it's anyone's for a top 4. Yeah. Thank you for correcting me after and also the person in the comments who pointed out my.
Oh, there you go. And do you know what? I mean, that was all of the big leagues, pretty much. We said that the A-League we mentioned. We said that Serie A had started, and Freya came in with that one. Liga F we kind of spoke about with Bonmati, and then of course the French League as well was just thrown in there. So it would be wrong if we didn't mention Scotland. So just so you know, Glasgow City are absolutely flying at the top there. They beat Partick Thistle 3-0, and they are currently 7 points clear of both Rangers and Celtic, which is great news if you are a Glasgow City fan. Not so much with others, but Celtic and Rangers both winning their game as well. Celtic winning 2-0 away to Motherwell, and Rangers winning 2-1 at home to the champions Hibernian. So yeah, some interesting stuff happening north of the border too. Look at that. Somebody comes walking in literally just as we mentioned, let's talk about Scotland. It was literally a flyby, drive-by league explanation is what we're going to call that one. So there we are. Great question. Connor, I await your response on this one. Who is the best right back in the league? We've had a lot of conversation about this today. So we are going to wait to see what he said. Oh, he's gone completely United there. I've ruined it with a follow-up there, unfortunately. So there we go. Honest answer to this, we have to start paying appearance fees now. He's a very important man. So just don't out with my budget to keep putting him in.
Is he saying we're not good enough? Does he not enjoy the 4 of us on a Monday night?
Well, you're leaving us, Sean. You're leaving us.
You're not leaving us after next week, so you really got to put 2 feet stand on saying, we're not good enough. Really, we aren't good enough because you're leaving us.
I'll back the 4 of us while I'm here. When I'm gone, fight for yourselves. But while I'm here, I'll back us. We're good. We're good. All right? We don't need him.
And this is why I don't invite him on, because you can't improve perfection. So there you go. He didn't have anything to say about that one, but it's kicking off in the corner.
Yeah, because your Welsh players you don't use. That's why. I blame Mark Skinner.
Well, he has them. He just chooses not to use them, which is absolutely madness. And again, we've got people coming in again. I started right at the beginning with that. But there we go. Once again, more congratulations. And yes, that is the serious answer. A very busy man indeed, with lots of things to do. Whereas I'm not. So I just go onto 2 channels and sit and chat on a Saturday evening. I don't know what night it is now. I've lost the plot entirely. Monday evening. So there we are. Right. Shout out time for anybody that needs to do so. Freya, anything you want to shout out, do it now.
Thank you all. The whole 115 yards, getting into a really good swing of posting things recently. So I did a FA Cup roundup with 3 kind of spotlight match reports from the weekend. That's up now, so do give that a click. Even if you don't want to read it, just click it, because then it'll direct more traffic to the website, and that'd be great. Thank you very much. Also, the transfer tracker as well. I've been out and about today because of reasons, so I just need to update that, but it's updated for every other day apart from today. So again, that should be on the homepage. And yeah, talk a lot of football on various different challenge. I don't know where I am either.
Both, mate.
I'll be around. I'll be around on the internet at some point. Thank you very much.
Lovely stuff. Sean, you may not want to shout anything out, but I do want to ask you, will the sort of content we see on @Sean change?
There'll be hardly any. To be very honest with you, I'm stopping doing everything now. So my shout out, it's still very weird. Please follow Wrexham AFC on socials.
And a reasonable one to shout out there as well. So there we go. And of course, Liberty, anything you would like to shout out?
I did the Alan Vangerheim player profile with Connor on All for United at the end of last week that you might want to watch if you're a United fan. If you're not a United fan, I wouldn't really watch it. Might be a bit boring. But if you've got nothing else to do, maybe put it on in the background. Other than that, not particularly. Same things as normal. I have socials. Everything's my name. Boy's name with an S on the end. Thank God, everyone sort of decided not to sign too many Swedes last week, so I wasn't as emotionally drained. But if you haven't seen my face before, talk a lot about Swedish football. If your team has signed themselves a Swede, I probably had an opinion on it, so I'd go onto my Twitter and look what I said. But yeah, the only thing new is player profile on Ellen with Connor, and we had like a half an hour chat, which is great. So yeah, if you got half an hour and got nothing better to do, watch that. But other than that, just go and look what these guys do, and they've got more interesting things to say than me. Maybe not Sean. No, Sean has more interesting things to say than me, but because he's stopping saying them because he's starting his new job, it'd be kind of null and void at this point to go. So maybe go and do his like back catalogue. Like he's a really good author. He's got back catalogue. That's it. I'm going to stop talking now.
Okay, there we go. And Connor just thrown in at the end again a little bit more. Congratulations for Sean.
Sorry,
We've
Sean,
got somebody who's followed as well.
What does the A stand for? What does the A stand for, Sean?
The A?
Yeah.
Wrexham Association Football Club.
Thank you, because I was
the third
thinking,
oldest professional team in the world.
Because I was thinking, unless it can't be Wrexham Women Football Club, because like last time I checked, you don't spell women with an A. So I was wondering what the A stood for. Thank you.
There we go. There you go. Oh my God, she shouted at me again. What do you think of Baltimore versus Carolina?
Can I answer that for you, Barry?
Go for it.
I'll be honest, Chandler, we are not ending this show on the bloody Sandwich Cup. We've said our goodbyes, and we're just going to end it there. I'm sure it'll be fascinating, but quite frankly, we're done. It's been
We
almost.
want to talk about the Subway Cup.
We're not going to end on the Subway Cup. I'm sorry. We hope you've enjoyed this show, but no, we're not chatting Subway. I'm sure it'll be fascinating, and we all agree.
You will need to join us next week, because don't forget, next week's special, hosted by Sean. He's already done the schedule. We've got half an hour on Wales, half an hour on Brighton, and a half an hour on the Sandwich Cup, at which point we can finish a show on the Sandwich Cup. So there we go. Make sure you're locked and loaded, ready for that one. A big thank you to all for joining us, whether you be on the panel or whether you be in the comments. It's been an absolute pleasure to have your company this evening. Have a very safe week. See us again on Wednesday for the Lower League Lingo FA Cup special, and we will see you again next week for Sean's last day. Night all.